I used to believe that if that your allergies were discovered in childhood, and if you had no issues then, you just be scot-free. But I've learned through experience that even as an adult, you can develop food sensitivities and food allergies. And a lot of times the symptoms may be masked by other things. You might think, oh, I'm having a stomach virus, or oh, I ate too much, or oh, this is gas. Or a lot of times the symptoms of being intolerant to foods can be masked for other things. So you continue to eat the offensive foods and have problems. So into my late 30s, I noticed that, or even earlier than that, I would even say 33-ish, I noticed that I was getting more and more bloated. I noticed that I was really sensitive to salt. Salt would make my stomach blow up right away, right after a meal. I noticed that certain carbs weren't agreeing with me as they were before. Now, I'm from Haiti, and our meals, like dinner, is 80% rice, and then everything else gets put on top of that. So I'm used to eating a big plate of rice at my meals, and suddenly I was noticing that this wasn't really working for me the way it was before. Now, white rice wasn't as much of a problem for me as brown rice. I thought I was doing a healthy thing by giving my body a whole grain, the brown rice, but my body was having difficulty digesting it. I noticed that wheat was becoming an issue for me as well. It's not that I couldn't eat any at all, but again, depending on what I ate, the bloating, pasta, I moved to multi-grain pasta. No, I moved to even regular pasta, breads. I love bread. So just in trying to keep a loose food journal, I discovered that now I'm sensitive to certain types of grains, and I have to watch how often I'm eating them, how much I'm eating them, and maybe it would be optimal for me not to eat them at all. So this is a struggle because I think that we develop habits, we develop a certain taste for a certain type of cuisine, and when our bodies start to protest, it's really difficult to sometimes let go of some of those foods. Dairy is another thing that my body is like, chill. That's just too much. And since I tend to enjoy other cultures and watching even international film, I've noticed that other people don't necessarily eat the portions that we do. Maybe some of it might be the availability of food, but if they're drinking coffee, it's a little bit of coffee, or if they're having, a soda, it's a small can. And when they have the food on their plate, I just notice it's so much less. And so as I get older, I notice that I also have to watch the portions that I'm eating. And I derive a lot of comfort from food. And I notice that sometimes when I'm eating, it's not so much that I'm hungry, but certain activities that I do go hand in hand with eating. So when I'm doing that activity, I feel like I need to eat, even though I'm not hungry. For example, watching a movie. I have to have something in my mouth. I'm watching a movie. I'm watching a game. I'm watching, those things go hand in hand with eating. Or if I'm reading a book, I want to be drinking something sweet, or, and these are all things that I've derived over the years. These are habits that I've formed that don't work for me now that I'm older. I think the biggest thing is that my body is saying, watch it. But it's hard letting some of those things go. But the difference in how I feel is like night and day. So what are some of the things that you've noticed? Let me know down below. Be blessed.